All right. Happy Saturday, everyone. Hope your weekend is going well. It's almost over. I hate to spoil it for you. Tomorrow is Sunday, and there are not 24 hours in the day Sunday. I'm sorry to tell you that. I just wanted to warn you. Okay, I take it back. It's too late. I'm sorry. Forgive me. But I know today is errand day. People run, their errands and all that good stuff. I was one of them. Headed out to go get a few things for the refrigerator, the closet, that type of thing. And It's a lot of folks out there. The dominant society. They're out there with their shorts on, walking around, having a good old time in the way. Because I don't know what's up with that. I really don't know what's up with that. Why are they in the way? They're supposed to be walking straight ahead. They're walking sideways. I'm like, what is that all about? Go straight. I've said this before. It wasn't on this channel. But here we have a couple of, games going on, the White Sox or the Chicago Cubs. And every time they have those games, they turn the escalator off. You know why? Because of the rhythmless nation. Everybody will topple all over each other if they would use that escalator. So they have to turn it off. I'm like, oh. And they have no problem just stopping, just walking, do, and just stop and stand there. I'm like, what is this? So I ran into a little bit of that, but I always greet them with the people's elbow. I have no problem. So it is what it is. But also by the sun shining, it was nice and warm today, and we had a nice thunderstorm about an hour ago because it was just hot. No umbrella would have helped you. You would have to go in for shelter because the wind was blowing and that rain was coming down. And like I said, folks out there, but the stores, it still was funny. Well, I don't want to say funny, ha ha, but it was amazing to see a lot of people stop and just look at the empty building and look at the leasing sign because that corner bakery was promised to come back. Well, that was Panera Bread, take that back. It was promised to come back. And the corner bakery just been sitting there for a year, just sitting there. And I'm like, darn, this isn't looking good. But anyway, enough of that. Welcome to another episode of Article Reaction. You don't know what you're going to get. Weird stuff, funny stuff, nice stuff, some stuff to make you angry. Hopefully enough to make you go out there and do something. You got to fight for your rights. Yeah, that too. Well, without further ado, you all know what to do. Put your hands together. You can stand up as well. Get ready for the Jamaican Canadian woman, y'all. Here we go.
Stay down there, girl. Stay down there.
Yeah. You know what, Shark? I'm thinking, right? Because
Uh-huh.
it's so close to my birthday now. Maybe I'll try to make a TikTok, right? And I'll use this song, right? I mean, come on, right?
Oh.
Ruby does TikTok one time. It's gonna be go down there, just so we're all clear. If I ever do it, it'll be to this, and it'll be in the next 10 days before I'm officially too old to do that kind of foolishness, right? Because then I'm in my late 30s. I'm still technically in my mid 30s, so I feel like I can kind of slide, right? In 10 days, I'll be in my late 30s, and then it's like that's for younger people. You're too old for that, right? So maybe we'll see, y'all. I'll let y'all know if I start one. How you doing this afternoon or evening, Shard? Oh my God, it's afternoon for me, evening for y'all. How you doing this after evening?
I am doing well this evening, after evening, and all of that. Depends on where you are, but I'm doing well. Welcome. Good to see you
Beautiful.
always.
Always. You listen, y'all know, and if you don't know, it's because you're not paying attention. Article reactions is like my favorite day of the week. Well, any day I could hear it go down there. But I mean, also in general, I love this part. You know what I mean? We get to expose some crazy stuff out there. Of course, we got the Karen segment. Some good news, warnings, how you can make a little more money. I mean, come on. It's like the best show in the world.
Yeah, that's
Mm-hmm.
right. And I'm gonna let you have Karen, cause I know you be having them Karens. I'm like, I want you to get them all in. So I'm gonna
Yes.
let you get them in, girl. Yes, I am.
Yes, because
Hmm.
they just keep piling up and piling up. All right, I'm going to make sure I get all those tabs open to Karens. Yes, all right.
All right. So let's see what we got here. I'm going to for the young man that got on the show yesterday and was asking about child support. He was really concerned about child support. He kept asking questions. Well, what about abortions and what about? I'm like, what is going on? So I just want to share this story, and I don't want him to be this guy because this guy just went too far with it. You know, but there was some twists and turns, and let's see if they do mention it. If not, then I'll tell you what those twists and turns are.
All right.
A mother murdered in front of her three young children. Police revealing new details tonight, including the fact that her 1-month-old baby was also hurt and left for 5 days. Now, 2 months after the killing, detectives have arrested that infant's father. ABC 15's Zach Crenshaw has followed this story from day one, and he's speaking with that mother's family. Here's the message they want others to take away from this tragedy.
It took more than 2 months.
It felt like 2 years. I'm not going to lie.
But late Thursday, Phoenix PD had Andre Daniels in handcuffs for the murder of Siobhan Robinson.
You get chills everywhere. You kind of just are stuck.
Kika is Siobhan's older sister.
But we feel relieved that somebody is arrested. They have a person, but then it hits you like this person just legit took my sister. And my nieces and nephews don't have a mom. For what?
In court docs, detectives spelled out the motive. Daniels was engaged and had multiple kids with his fiancée, but an affair led Siobhan to get pregnant. Messages reveal he wanted her to get an abortion or put the child up for adoption. Instead, she had the baby and messaged the fiancé Daniels cheated. In the 4 days before she was murdered, Siobhan was Googling how to apply for child support, how long paternity tests take, and Andre Daniels' arrest history, which police say included kidnapping, ag assault, and robbery.
I mean, he has a record. And that's probably why we didn't know nothing about him, because I feel like my sister knew we would not approve.
Domestic violence calls in Phoenix increased in 2020. Kika says communication about a troubled situation is so important so family or friends can help.
She was really private, and we respected her privacy. And I feel like that was a shortcoming on us as a family. If you see a red flag, run away. You can't change nobody.
In addition to murder, Daniels was charged with 3 counts of child abuse because after he allegedly stabbed Siobhan to death, he left her infant and 2 toddlers in the apartment. They were found 5 days later, naked, crying, dehydrated, and begging neighbors for food. That 1-month-old also had significant head injuries.
We figured that part out because the baby wasn't released to us right away. Thank God nothing's wrong with her now.
Families concerned now, raising Siobhan's kids in a loving home.
The older that they get, the harder the questions are going to be.
They hope to have a definitive answer, though, about what happened to Andre Daniels.
We want him to, spend life in prison and even possibly the death sentence.
Zach Crenshaw, ABC 15, Arizona.
All right. Well, the guy was, I guess, separated from his ex. Or maybe he just decided to cheat while he was dealing with the ex. I don't know. But anyway, he ended up having a child with this other woman. And then he felt some kind of way because now she's pregnant. But we know what happened. You have to be more careful. But I guess they were not careful. But to go to this extreme because the woman had the child, that's a bit much. So the gentleman asking questions last night, we did mention you got to be responsible, be careful on what you do.
And I hate hearing these stories. I really do. I mean,
Yeah.
I know it's a cold, lonely world out there. I get it, and I know that we are lacking models, good role models to help us kind of know what a good man is or a good woman is or whatever. But it's like, Man, you're trying to tell me there was no red flags at all? None. That this person had this in them. I don't know. Like I know sometimes people are really sweet and then when they snap and whatever, but come on, come on. For the most part, when we hear these stories where a stepfather, a stepmother murders everybody, uh,
Yeah.
there was so many red flags. And, I mean, with the story we covered a few months ago, with the guy he killed like the whole family, uncle, cousins, grandpa. He was just killing everybody. And then took his baby and ran away for a bit. Um, you know, it was a lot of violence before she finally called the cops and got a restraining order. I don't know why they hand those out. They're like, you're going to throw the piece of paper at them and it's going to do what? Put them into an automatic prison so they can't hurt you? Like, it's not super helpful. But, there's a lot of violence and red flags and terrible things that happen, and people kind of dismiss all of that. And then they get so deep in, and then when they finally put their foot down, normally is when something horrible happens, right? When they say, I'm done. And this guy's like, no, I don't like to hear it. I'm done. Sorry. It's like that
Mm,
whole, if I can't have you, no one else can. Literally. It,
okay.
terrible. Just terrible. And those
Yeah.
poor kids.
Right. And he left his 4-week old child right there. I'm
No
glad
good.
he didn't, do anything to the children. I'm glad of that. But still, it was
At
sick.
least.
Yeah, it still was sick. You have to be responsible. Like I was saying, you know, testosterone is a hell of a drug. You say what you want,
Yep.
but everything kind of goes out the window. You like, should I go and get that condom? It's in the back closet there. It's over in the bathroom. Man, she looking good right there. She ready. Forget it. And that happens a lot.
Right. Stop
Yeah.
creating babies with random strangers, please. It's not working well for y'all. That's all I'm saying.
Yes. Now, on the other extreme, I know the gentleman don't have this question. He has some experience, he said. But we did mention last week on part one about the guys be having arsenal, but it be from the dominant society. So I'm going to play that. It may make us, let me see if it's going to do that. It do the commercial and all that kind of stuff. It may do that. Will it? Let's see. Maybe not. Yeah. Gotta wait 14 seconds. Ah. But anyway, but yeah, they're always at the extreme. It's like you ignore me, and it has nothing to do with all the other people, but they want to go shooting everybody else.
For a Southeast Ohio man now facing federal hate crime charges after allegedly planning a mass shooting targeting women. Federal agents arrested 21-year-old Trace Gengo from Hillsborough today. Officials say that Gengo, who is also self-identified incel, illegally brought a machine gun, among other weapons, to carry out an attack against sororities at a university in the state. Charging documents claim that Genko conducted surveillance at a university last January and allegedly searched online for ways to carry out a shooting crime. If convicted, Genko could face life in prison.
Here are AARP's
Now, that energy he used to scope out and all of that, why don't you use that energy? You could use the energy and try to meet the opposite sex. But no, you're going to seek out how the place look, how to get in, to attack women that have nothing to do, or even people, because there's always innocent bystanders getting hurt because you can't get any attention. That is terrible. That is another extreme. But like we talked about last week, the dominant society, they have all the guns. I'm like, when they gonna go wild, they go wild. I'm like, good Lord. Sad, sad, sad.
Crazy. And this whole incel thing. I mean, I would like, because the guys like to say, oh, they use those words as shaming language against us. No, the manosphere created, and I'm not talking about the black manosphere, I'm talking about the white manosphere, created the terminology incel to describe themselves, right?
Oh.
They are involuntarily celibate, right? Women don't choose them. That's why they have all those narratives about Brads and Chads and Beckys and
Mm-hmm.
whatever in the white manosphere, right? Because they are the disenfranchised majority, they call themselves, who get overlooked and da 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 da. And then they go find these echo chambers that give them no solutions and no hope, right? You just weren't born with the right genetics. So that's it. You will never be chosen. It's just your genetics. She'll always, every woman will always overlook you. No woman will ever choose you, right? And they just sell you on this propaganda so they can make money, not recognizing that, well, if you give people no hope, like, what is the point of them being alive? What is the point of them following societal rules? What's the point? And then they act out and they do crazy things, unfortunately. I mean, at some point, social media and content creators have to take some responsibility and accountability, especially once you get to like influencer level. You have a lot of following. You have to take some responsibility for what comes out of your mouth and the possible impacts that that's going to have on your audience. Like, you can't keep shrugging your shoulders and be like, they're adults, they should know better. Well, clearly not.
Hit the
Like,
link. Mm-hmm.
right? We talked about Van Dude, and Van Dude, who drove down a sidewalk for however many blocks to try to run over as many women, really, and attractive men as possible, did that because why? Who was he listening to? The white manosphere? Oh, okay. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Not your fault, though, even though he was literally following out y'all's vendetta. But okay, yeah, not your fault. Um, Now, I don't know if this dude's incel or not, but I feel like this is a really good segue. So I'm just going
Okay.
to show y'all his face first, and then we will watch the video in a bit.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, so as y'all can see, the title, for those of y'all who can't read, I'll read it to you. Super creepy doorbell cam records man politely asking homeowner to come outside so he can rape and kill her. This is real. This is not,
Mm.
yeah, this is not like one of those things where it's like, oh, this is clickbaity, but it's not what really happened. And we're gonna see the video in a little while. Okay, so now this what happened in Las Vegas. The woman's name is Amanda Nowak, and she posted the footage captured by her Ring doorbell camera of a stranger knocking on her front door. Okay. Now I'm not going to tell you the words because I want y'all to hear it on the video. And she was home alone at the time. She remained completely silent, completely hidden. So he must have at some point earlier. He must have been stalking the house for a long time to know that she was actually indoors. He was pretty confident she was actually in there. So he must have been watching for a long time. But by the time he rang the doorbell, she said that there's no way he could have seen her. Lights were off. She remained completely hidden. Thank God everything was locked. Um, and she was trying to get a hold of her husband. She is married, so she's trying to get a hold of her husband to have her husband speak through the doorbell cam, and he does as well in a bit, thinking that might scare the guy off. It doesn't.
Okay.
Eventually, police were called, and the lady from 911 stayed on the line until the cops got there. Um, but the guy walks away, and they didn't actually have his ID, like his identification. They didn't really know who he was, but of course, they have a very clear picture of him.
Yes.
So this was posted on social media, and he was recognized. Someone recognized the photo on social media, and so they reported him, and he was picked up, and he was arrested on charges of stalking, coercion, obstruction of, and obstructing a police officer. Um, but they don't know who he is. Police have yet to identify him, booking him only as John Doe. So it's interesting. No one actually knows his real name. They don't know how to charge him. But hey, this is the power of social media, y'all. Even without knowing someone's name. Yo, I recognize that guy. He always hangs out outside the beer store. Hold on, I live outside the beer store. Oh yeah, he's there now. You know what I mean? And then there you
Wow.
go. Yeah, isn't that amazing? So at
Yeah.
least this creep is off the streets, even though no one knows his name. We don't know what other crimes he might have committed, so on and so forth. But all right, I'm gonna play the doorbell cam footage for y'all because this guy is really a creep. Like he is a complete and utter creep. All right.
Okay.
Are you sure? I just rang your doorbell because I have a couple questions for you. Are you sure? I just rang your doorbell because I have a couple questions for you. Are you sure? What? Are you sure? I just rang your doorbell because I have a couple questions for you. Are you sure? Are you positive? Are you sure? I just have a couple questions for you. Are you sure? Are you positive? I just have a couple questions for you. Are you sure? Are you positive? Are you sure? Are you absolutely certain?
He's trying the door not to.
Sure. So who are you?
Now that's the
What?
husband's voice.
Yeah? Are you sure? Who are you? Hey, I just had a couple questions. I just wanted to ask you about baby fuel. Yeah, can you hear me? What I'm looking for is for the girl that's in the house to come out here because I'm going to rape her and kill her. Can you have her open the door?
Can you have her open
Rape
the
and
door?
kill the girl that's on the other side of the store when she lets me in. I want to rape her and kill her because I have a knife and a gun. Yeah, and I'm going to knock on her door again. All right.
What
Are you sure?
in the world?
Yeah.
Right. And then at that point, basically, it's over. Now, when police found him, he didn't have, or it wasn't clear, at least reportedly, that he has a gun or a knife or any form of weaponry on him. But what the hell was that? Can you imagine? Like, I think I would rather someone screaming and saying, like, you know, a bunch of different things for that 3 minutes, right? Like that overly, weirdly calm. Are you sure? Are you positive? Are you sure? Remember, she's not answering him. So he just keeps saying this. And even when he
Wow.
walked away, if you noticed, he kept saying, Are you sure? Are
Yeah.
you positive? In that weird, creepy voice. But for the husband to come on, right now you hear a man's voice. And the man, and to the man, you go, Oh, yeah, I just want to ask her a few questions. I just want her to open the door so I can rape her and kill her. Can he ask her to come outside? What? Who would say yes to that? Who would ever, like, what?
Right.
No. Of course not. Of course not. Right? Like, this was the weirdest scenario. I've never seen anything like this. I think there's got to be something went wrong with this guy. Like, he blew a fuse. And that's it. He's done. Like, they need to lock him up and throw away the key. They can't be letting this guy out in a year because, stalking's only a year. No, they need to find some way of keeping this guy in a mental ward or something indefinitely because he's lost his mind.
Yeah, because if he's so calm and cool and collected like that, you don't know what he's capable of doing. Because he definitely need an evaluation.
Mhm.
And why haven't they identified him? He doesn't have anything on record yet, no fingerprints or what. So this is very strange,
Mhm.
extremely strange.
Very, very. And like,
Wow.
why her? And apparently, right, there's no reports from the rest of the neighborhood, right?
Uh
So
huh.
he really did very specifically target this one house. So I mean, maybe he has been stalking her. We're not really sure. Is she somebody? When I say somebody, like, is she a social media person? Like, maybe she's an influencer or something. He recognizes her from
Mm-hmm.
something. Like, it seems pretty targeted, but we don't have those details yet, unfortunately. It's weird. Just weird.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know, right? Lock your doors, y'all. Lock your doors.
Yeah, shoot, I don't even think I want any glass. They might break it and try to come through. I don't
Right?
know. Cause I was looking at the glass. I'm like, is that really thick? Is he gonna try to go through it? That's what I'm thinking. Well, what about someone else? I'm like, oh boy, that beauty is not everything. Cause if they can go through that glass, they come to get you. So forget that beautiful stained glass. I need protection.
Right. I'm getting crossbars on everything. Forget this. Like,
Okay,
mhm.
be locked in.
Damn.
All right. Um. Hey, why did it move? I don't know. It moved, and this is. It didn't even capture it. Okay, let's try it again. All right. So I'm gonna do a couple of screens here. Let's try it one more time. Okay, share. Okay, there it is. Lovely, lovely.
Hmm.
The U.S. Canada border is finally reopening. Do you know what that means? That means now I can finally go and get that coffee that you mentioned.
Hey now.
So I just want to share that, tell everybody, hey, I'm going to get this coffee. I'm about that coffee life.
It's gonna be worth it. I'm telling y'all. Telling y'all. We just gotta try it once. You'll be hooked. We still got Americans shipping in canisters of it. That's all I'm saying.
Shoot, give me that coffee. All right, let me show you some more here. Let's see, which one is it? Is it this one? Which one is? Oh, here it is. All right. Move ad. COVID-19 sniffing police dogs make U.S. debut. Didn't know nothing about that, did you?
Mm-mm.
Didn't know they had some dogs for that. Neither did I.
Right?
Now, how these dogs work, I don't know, but about to find out. So let me read it here.
Yep.
Okay, got COVID dogs.
It's gonna be something. I would love to hear this. Like I can't wait. Okay. Hmm.
All right. Bristol County, Massachusetts. The Bristol County Sheriff Office in Massachusetts announced they will be the first law enforcement with K-9 trained to detect COVID-19. The law enforcement agency posted photos of the dog at the small graduation ceremony they held for the K-9s. The two dogs will be partnered with members of the Bristol County law enforcement team to detect COVID-19 in public areas. Yeah. Okay, so one dog, let me show you who he is. Which one is it? Let me go back to my other tab. Where are you? The one on the right. So the one on the right, his name is Hunter. And Hunter is a 9-month-old black lab, but he's not black. Why are they showing that dog? Well, anyway. And Duke, oh, they got the wrong thing. Let me show you. It's not my imagination. So they show the dog there. So I was trying to figure out his name. They got Hunter, the 9-year-old black lab. I'm like, he's not black.
Not at all. Last I checked.
And Duke, a 9-month-old golden lab retriever mix, was trained at Florida International University's International Forensic Research Institute. It's best to think of it as a decon- deconam- decontamination tool. BCSO Captain Paul Douglas says the dogs can detect the COVID odor. Now, I don't know anything about a COVID odor, and I would love to Google and see if there's actually a COVID odor because people have been getting false and negative tests and all kind of stuff, but these dogs can detect. I'm just saying. The dogs can detect the COVID odor on a counter or table if it was recently touched by a COVID positive individual, or even detect the odor on a tissue used by someone with COVID. The dogs were trained using masks worn by COVID 19 positive individuals. The masks were burned by UV light. Go back up a little bit more to destroy the actual virus. So now you got UV light that destroys the actual virus. Hmm, I haven't heard that one either. This is all science, Douglas says. Though infection rates have decreased significantly, the Delta variant has led to an increase nationwide in positive cases and death from coronavirus. The U.S. passed 600,000 deaths from coronavirus in June. So, my question is, are they trained for the new variant or the original? That's my question. I'm just curious. Just curious. Law enforcement. Ruby, like, what the hell is this? Law
Mm-hmm.
enforcement are hoping that.
This is so stupid. Oh my god. I have to keep muting myself, so I shut up. Okay, go.
Yeah, I'm laughing. I'm really laughing because I already know what you got. I know you got something to say. Law enforcement are hoping the dogs will help allow reopening to continue despite the concern posed by the Delta variant. Today, festivals are happening, restaurants are full, and concert venues are packed. We've made so much progress, and our new COVID 19 detection program is one way the people of Bristol County can stay ahead of the curve. Yeah, right. Get the hell out of here. Hunter and Duke, they got it. Hunter and Duke. Okay. Y'all gonna depend on Hunter and Duke? Okay, okay. Hunter and Duke. I don't know what to say, but I am curious what you have to say. Let me scroll up so everybody can see the title if they coming in.
Girl, listen. No, okay? If they can't train dogs to more than at a 50% rate accurately detect that drugs, a whole thing that we can smell, right? If they can't accurately train dogs to detect that, to detect gunpowder, to detect things that are big, like they're a presence, they're feet long sometimes, with a smell at more than a 50% accuracy rate. How in the world can you try to convince anybody that a dog could not just smell a person? And because if they were making that assertion, then I could be like, okay, maybe they're smelling cues that people have when they're sick. I don't know. Maybe we sweat a different hormone or something. I could kind of try to buy that one. No. They smell the surface,
Right.
and then told you whether someone who had COVID at some point touched that surface.
Uh-huh.
Y'all, I wish you could see my face. I wish you could see. That is the stupidest thing. And then here's the worst part. What's worse about it, right? Because you brought up a great point. There's minimum 4 or was it 5 different variants we talked about just last week. There's Lambda, there's Delta, there's a regular COVID variant, there's something that has 2 P's in it. I can't remember. So I can remember 4 off the top of my head. 3.5 off the top of my head, right? So now, apparently, the smell is different, right? So in theory, they would all smell different. So, well, what kind of? You would think, right?
Yeah.
But more importantly, where's the research? That's what I want to know. I want to know where the research is.
The research was in a boardroom saying, hey, we got to get people back out there. What are we going to do? I got an idea. What you got, Peter? You know what? We'll trick them. How are we going to do that? I'll give you a good grant and we'll put some dogs out there and we'll have dogs sniffing COVID. Really? Peter, I don't know if that's going to work. No, trust me, Bill. We're going to try it. Okay, let's get it out there.
Right. Right. And then like if they can smell contact so well, right? What
Hmm.
if like I with my glove on because it's winter, right? So I shake someone else's hand, their glove is off, they have COVID, right? And now I touch the table or whatever. Now apparently I have COVID. Like there's just like even like what they're trying to say that they would do is so problematic. We touch so many things. We
Yeah.
really do. Even while we're trying to be all paranoid and stuff because COVID, we touch so much. There's
Yeah.
this doesn't make sense. Like they would be smelling so many things, including maybe trace elements of COVID from that pool that you touched outside or whatever. What does that have to do with you having COVID? Like, uh,
Yeah, I got an idea for a pension. I'm gonna join this bandwagon.
right?
I'm gonna get some dogs, and I'm gonna train them, and I'm gonna pretend that I have uh the know-how what the dogs do to sniff out versions.
See, girl, you should. You should. Guys, one day I will do an investigative breakdown for you on the shady, shoddy expertise and specialization of the police force. And when y'all see the tactics that they are using, and they honestly, like, the cops don't think, like, they think that, oh, I'm a specialist now in detecting whether people are drunk or not, or high or not. Even if the breathalyzer says that they blew a zero, I know that they're intoxicated with alcohol because I took this really special, 2-day weekend course. Like, I swear to God, this is really happening. And the cops, honestly, like, yeah, that's right. My dog is infallible. Okay, well, we proved that there's no drugs in the car, sir. Well, there were drugs in there then. And then that's okay.
Hmm.
That's
Yeah.
okay. Like, y'all don't understand how shady this is, right? But it's like it's okay. Hold on, let me show. I'm gonna show y'all this really quick. This is my story, my next story, but I'm gonna show y'all this really quick because I want y'all to see just the title of this. I'm not even gonna go into it. I want you to see the title of this. Are you seeing this? Federal Court Appeals Court. Drug dog that's barely more accurate than a coin flip is good enough. That is what the federal appeals court said.
Mm.
The federal appeals court said that a dog that cannot be proven to be better than a coin flip, better than a 50-50, so basically better than your best guess, right? And actually your educated guess might be better than that, right? That is more valid than the fact that, no, but you didn't find any drugs on me. You didn't find a weapon on me. Yeah, but the dog said. I swear
Mm.
that's what they're saying. This is ridiculous. This doesn't make any sense. And the worst part is they don't know how what dogs are identifying to begin with. They honestly don't, right? There was a woman, and I did a lot of research on this back in my early school days. There was a woman who apparently taught a monkey, right, how to fully and completely communicate via sign language.
Mm.
But what they determined, and actually they've done this over the years. At one point, there was someone who thought they had taught their horse how to communicate in English and whatever. But what they determined ultimately is that if you take the quote unquote teacher away, they no longer know how to communicate the same way. And so what they realized is that this animal was learning, those subconscious cues from their trainer. So if
Hmm.
the trainer thinks there's drugs in there, the dog thinks there must be drugs in here. The dog keeps looking back at the trainer, right? And the
Yeah.
trainer's giving subconscious cues. You see what I'm saying? That is a
Yeah.
lot more likely than they're smelling something because they don't even know how that works. They literally will tell you. Even the dog trainers themselves will tell you, well, we don't know how it works. I don't have a dog's nose, but we just know it works.
Yeah. That's why I wrote in the chat room. I'm like, Rover, he just nods so he can get a treat. You
Yeah.
smell it, boy? You smell it? Treat? Yeah.
Yeah.
Nod. Okay.
Right.
Roof, roof.
What am I gonna get? I get stuff? Okay, yeah, I smell whatever you want. Where's my prize? Um,
Right. Man, this whole world with this reward system.
right? Oh, it's bad. It is so bad. Listen, y'all, I kind of understand to an extent. I'm telling y'all, it's making me feel like there's something that changes. I mean, because we know that the way that this vaccine works is it messes with your DNA, right? Now, okay, I phrased that badly. It's working on your RNA, right? And so maybe that actually does cause you to smell different. And
Mm,
maybe what they're trying to train the dogs for is vaccinated versus unvaccinated. That's what I'm thinking, honestly. And so the
mm-hmm,
dog can identify when you're vaccinated. And so this is going to have a lot of applications later for when, they're trying to basically prevent people from doing things or going places just because they're unvaccinated. And making that a
mm-hmm,
bigger and bigger issue, which then makes people like this seem less crazy. I'm going to be real. So now this Toronto gym, right, has banned vaccinated people from being members. Literally, right? Now, I mean, on one side, this might sound crazy, but hey, you can do it the other way, can't you? No,
mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. They don't trust the vaccine. And because they don't trust the vaccine, they don't want anyone who has the vaccine in their gym. Now, I wouldn't do it,
Mm-hmm.
but with that being said, do I kind of understand this guy's reasoning? Do I kind of understand? Okay, let me tell you what he said. So he says, oh, I didn't tell you his name. His name is Mohammed Abedin, and he lives in Etobicoke, Ontario. Right, so that's pretty close to my house, maybe like half an hour away, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And so he is the co-founder of Fearless Boxing Club. And he posted on Instagram and Facebook this week indicating that the gym's boxing club will not be accepting any vaccinated members. For the safety of our members, the Fearless Boxing Club will no longer be accepting those who received the experimental COVID vaccine. Our current members, including doctors, nurses, teachers, parents, and many youth, feel safer waiting until more research is done on the side effects being discovered right now. Right? And so when you make it about possible side effects and how experimental this is, because really it is still very, very experimental in the very, very experimental stages,
Yeah.
it's the same concern I have, right? I wouldn't be walking around without a mask on because I like life, right? And so I think it's a little bit silly to not be wearing a mask and whatnot, having kids y'all are exposing each other. I think that's also equally dangerous, if not more so, obviously. But I get it. Now he said, we were built in the lockdown, we opened in the lockdown, and we're not going anywhere. So it almost seems like before, and this is why I said he's one of the crazy ones. He's not just coming with just the logical stuff, because it seems as though he started building the gym during lockdown because gyms closed down, and then once they opened again you had to wear masks, and he's an anti-masker, and he's like, no, fine, screw it, I will build my own gym, right? Because that's what people were saying. Well, then build your own. Oh yeah,
Mm,
okay, I will. I'm gonna build us an anti-vaxxer gym. And that's what he did. And then he opened. And then he
mm,
went, yeah, no, sorry. Y'all won't let me into your gym under my rules, so I'm not letting you into my gym under your rules. And what?
mm.
Right?
That is interesting, though.
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting.
Exactly. I mean, it's not an entirely invalid point, especially when you start seeing them come now with supposed dogs that
Roof.
can smell the virus. That is such an asinine assertion that, again, my mind immediately jumped to, okay, well, when it changes your mRNA, Is it changing something that a dog can smell and identify? And is that going to become important later? And what does that mean? I don't know. It makes me put my tinfoil hat on a little bit. I'm not going to
Yeah.
lie. So I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Roof.
Good job,
Rover?
guys. Yep.
Is that COVID? Uh, Roof? Good boy, good boy.
Exactly.
Treat, 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 treat. Bacon, 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 bacon. Bacon, 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 bacon.
Yo, someone's got to prove it to me. Someone's got to prove it to me that anyone even pretended to test this for real before they walked in and announced this and whatever. Someone's got to prove it to me that they even tried to test it. Like, how did they even get people to participate in this test? Like,
Right, right. Well, you got old mass. You went in the hospitals. There's no word about this. Stop it.
this is so stupid.
Gee.
Hustle, hustle, hustle. Okay.
Somebody else trying to get a pension. I know. I know. You some of that PPP money came up with an idea. Okay, I got it. I got it. I know what's happening. You ain't gotta tell me. I'll just join in. But anyway, um, this was mentioned. I think a couple of years ago, back on BGS panel, and I think Cerulean spoke about it as well, as far as an income plan. They called it UBI, what they were speaking of, but California calls it a income plan, and California approves first state-funded guaranteed income plan. Now, what will surprise you, which surprised me, this came out on the 15th. It says California lawmakers on Thursday approved the first state funded guaranteed income plan in the United States, $35 million for monthly cash payments to qualifying pregnant people and young adults who recently left foster care with no restrictions on how they spend it. Yeah, the votes were 36 and 0 in the Senate and 64 to 0 in the Assembly, show bipartisan support for an idea that is gaining momentum across the country. Dozens of local programs have sprung up in recent years, including some that have been privately funded, making it easier for elected officials to sell the public on the idea. California plan is taxpayer funded and could spur other states to follow its lead. Now, why they started with this, I have no idea why they started with pregnant people and those that's leaving foster homes. I have no idea. I have no idea. And the monthly payment generally range from $500 to $1,000 in existing programs around the country. The vote came on the same day millions of parents began receiving their first monthly payments under the temporary expansion of the federal child tax credit, many view as a form of guaranteed income. There is momentum. Things are moving quickly, says Michael Tubbs, an advisor to Governor Gavin Newsom, who was a trailblazer when he instituted a guaranteed income program as mayor of Stockton. The next step is the federal government. So I don't know what to say about this. This is interesting. This is how they started. And then to say that it doesn't matter how they spend it, I don't know. It sounds fishy to me. I don't control what they do with the money. But again, I find it very interesting where they're starting. They're starting with pregnant people. That's how they wrote it. Pregnant people. They didn't say women. They just said pregnant people.
Oh, they have to use that phrasing now. That's the PC wording
Okay.
because trans men who are biologically born women but now identify as men can still get pregnant, right?
Yeah, I thought
So,
about that.
yeah.
I said that's probably, but that's interesting.
Hmm.
Still pregnant people and young adults who recently left foster care. That's just interesting that they're starting there. But it's going to be interesting how this pans out.
Hmm.
Will it continue to help other people? Will it stop here? I don't know. We'll find out when we find out, good people.
Right? I mean, what else can you say? I think I don't know.
Will there be enough to get down to black people? Will we be the last on the list or not on the list that is at all as normal? I don't know.
You know what? I think the problem is it's going to actually be perceived as something that's going to predominantly affect black people, specifically black women, right? Obviously, because there's this narrative out there that black women, black people are more likely to be in foster care, and of course, black women are more likely to have children out of wedlock, and da 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 da. Even though when you look at the percentage, right? Okay, maybe our percentage is a tiny bit higher than other percentages, but since our population is so much smaller than the majority population, there's going to be a lot more of the predominant population who are
Mm,
going to benefit, right? But I think it's going to it's they're intentionally I think they're going to intentionally low key sell it that way, and I think they do that on purpose because like it's the same thing as welfare. Why is there this perception that it's all black people, predominantly black women, who are on welfare? And like no one else is. It's just black women. Like they made welfare for black women, right? Or what's called affirmative action, right? Predominantly affects black women. Like that's there's this narrative. Every time they want to do something that I feel predominantly will affect white women,
mm-hmm.
um, they sell it in such a way that everyone is gonna say, see, it's just to help the black women again. Even though it isn't to help us at all. Right? And then they can pretend later in 5 years they can say, well, see, they did that thing for pregnant women who just got out of foster care. Remember all that black women that helped? No, it wasn't an initiative for us. It's never an initiative for us, right? They don't
Yeah,
make initiatives for us. Right?
that's
They
right.
just
They ain't trying to do that on purpose, and you may get some benefits from it. But trust me, no one's sitting around trying to just say, "Let's see, what can I do for black people, especially women." Let's see. No.
at all. At all.
And remember, all the children are aborted anyway, so none of us black kids are gonna get any money. So there you go.
Right? That's what I heard. I don't know.
You want to go that direction, but yeah. Oh
Last I
yeah.
checked, that was the narrative. I don't know. That's what you guys said. It's not true. I don't know. Okay. Listen, another thing that Cerulean Gray introduced me to years ago was this canary in a coal mine idea. And I've been kind of introducing the occasional story here and there, which is literally illustrating exactly that when it comes to specifically police violence and corrupt cops. And
Hmm.
I've been saying, and I think a lot of people, especially in grassroots kind of media like us, have been saying, like, y'all are ignoring this because you think it doesn't affect you. When I say y'all, I mean everyone else besides us. They are ignoring this. And because they don't think it's a them issue, right? They think it's a black issue. Well, if only black people stop being in gangs so much, if only they stop committing so many crimes. Um, and then it doesn't matter how much video comes out that proves that we're following the law, how much, whatever. They try to paint us like we're criminals in the media so it can ultimately be brushed off and the cop can get a slap on the wrist and everything is fine. Um, but, it's like I've been trying to say, like, guys, canary in a coal mine. Everything that happens hits us first and hits us worst, but it doesn't mean it's not going to happen to y'all. So you should care about it while it's hitting us first and hardest. Because once it spreads past us, it's going to be a much harder issue to control. And that's why we are seeing it's just like the guy who got gunned down in the police station while drunk and handcuffed behind his back.
Hmm.
No punishment. Well, I think he followed the rules. I'm going to show y'all another story today. And again, this is all y'all law-abiding citizens out there, right? With your wait, which amendment is the one for guns? The Second Amendment or the First Amendment? I can never tell. It seems like it's the most important amendment, so it might be first, but I think it's second, right?
Yeah, I forgot. I can Google right quick. Second Amendment.
Okay. So y'all with your Second Amendment rights, they're very important to you. And of course you have all the different laws that allow you to stand your ground in your home and blah blah blah. And as long as you're following the law, everything should be fine, right? The cops should be more than respectful. Well, let's take a look at this story and see how that ended up after for Jeff Whitaker. All right.
Okay.
But we start tonight with new video from a deadly shooting in Ahwatukee earlier this year. It was just 5 seconds from the moment Ryan Whitaker opened the door until he was fatally shot by Phoenix police officer. In the last 55 days rather, since the shooting, Whitaker's family pleaded for police to tell them the full story. Now we can all see and draw our own conclusions. ABC 15 investigator Melissa Blasius has the body camera footage, and a warning, the video may be difficult for you to watch.
This is how Ryan Whitaker's family wants to remember him. May 21st was his daughter's high school graduation. The 40-year-old then went back to his condo with his girlfriend when a neighbor called police on them twice.
It could be physical. I could say, yeah. Does that make anybody hurry up on?
Officers were told they were responding to a domestic violence situation that may have turned violent. We'll now show you video from one of the officers' body cameras showing exactly what happened up to the moment of the shooting, but we'll stop the video before the shots are fired.
How you doing? Whoa! Put your hands!
Now from the angle of the officer who fired the shots. We'll freeze the video when the shots are fired, but this time you will hear them.
Next place.
Just hours later, the officers described what happened in interviews with investigators.
The door comes flying open, and I hear him say something. I was like, gun! I took a couple steps back, started to draw. I was instantly in fear for my own life and for John, and I saw him going right towards John with the firearm. I then shot and ended the threat.
As we slow down the video, remember, Officers Cook and Ferragamo said Ryan Whitaker was advancing with the gun. But where is he when he's shot? He's crouching in the apartment doorway. The gun was recovered not out in the walkway, but several inches inside the condo. After viewing the video, Ryan's sister, Katie Baeza, commented on Facebook, "They murdered my brother. He was kneeling down to put the gun down and had his left hand in the air. His eyes are scared and surprised. That cop needs to be fired and rot in prison." The family, accompanied by their lawyer, will hold a news conference Thursday. I'm investigator Melissa Blasius, ABC 15 Arizona.
Now, I want to tell y'all a couple other things about this story. So, a little bit after he gets shot, not that long after, you can tell though, again, the sister, I believe it is. It's either the sister or the girlfriend. I can't really tell by her looks. I think it might be the sister though. She comes out, right, and she's hysterical. She looks like, oh my god. They're like, put your hand out, and screaming at her. So, she comes out and they make her come out. And then, at some moment, I think she might be in shock because she's entirely too calm. And so she's like, why did you shoot him? And the cop said, well, because he pulled a gun on us, ma'am. So that's statement one. Y'all saw the video. He had the gun in his hand. When he saw it was cops, he knelt down, put the gun down on the ground and shot, like kind of slid it back into his house. When the other hand was up in the air, and they shot him. His hand, the one that had the gun, actually never came forward. We see that in the video because the original body cam that I saw didn't have like I couldn't even see a gun. So I'm like, what do you mean he had a gun? Where's the gun? So you had to see it from the other angle to see, okay, well, his other hand was down, so maybe it's in that hand. But then to see what he did with that hand right before he got shot, he never advanced that hand forward. So that's craziness number one. Now, crazy thing number two. Let's talk about why the cops showed up. And again, this is why I said canary in the coal mine. Y'all have to understand, a whole bunch of things that have been happening to us are now happening to everyone in greater and greater numbers. And so we're going to see this. And until we care to have some form of police reform, it's going to just keep getting worse. So what happens is that a neighbor has a dispute with them, basically. Neighbor clearly does not like them. And so, they've had ongoing tensions. Now, what the neighbor did was two things. The first thing he kept doing is showing up to their door late at night and banging on the door really loudly and then running away, then coming back like an hour later, doing it again, whatever. This is why the guy showed up to the door with the gun to begin with, because someone had been regularly pounding on his door. So the neighbor gets him all primed, right? Banging on his door, whatever. So now he's going to show up like, who's harassing us this way? What is going on, right? So he knew this guy. He knew the Second Amendment. He's going to bring his gun. Then he calls the police, and every single question that the operator asked, he said yes. Has he got a gun? Yeah. Is he violent? Yeah, violent. Yeah. You hear screaming? Yeah, screaming. And they were actually warned when they first got there. I don't know, the call's kind of iffy. The caller won't give any information at all, as far as their own personal details, and they just say yes to everything. It's not really how these calls go. So, kind of mind your P's and Q's. There might be an issue with the caller. So they knew that information. And despite that, right, knowing, hey, there might be something weirder going on, they didn't even give Buddy a chance to comply, because he was complying and got shot in the back anyway and died. Yeah. And then originally actually kept their jobs. So now there's some calls for people being fired and whatever. But the way that they're currently talking about it, they're saying that Whitaker, the victim, he did nothing wrong, but neither did the cops. Oh, yeah. Also, in that footage that we listened to, they clearly messed with it before they released it, because there is, I watched the full thing, and there's like 30 seconds of audio silence while they're telling the story. So I think that's pretty interesting as well. So yeah, this is a really shady story. Really shady story.
Yeah, it is.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I like to give a shout out to Malcolm in the Middle 87. He has contributed to the channel, so he has made Sheed sing.
Mm-hmm.
So Sheed, hit it.
Like music to my heart. Like music to my heart.
Yeah, we're gonna get him to do a remix too. We're gonna give him.
Love it, yes.
Okay, and even live if he comes to the chat room.
Oh, that'd be yes, awesome. I see him sometimes in the chat room. Come on, man, come give us a remix. We love you. Come on, give us a little sun.
All right, so I got two left. So let's go ahead and do them back to back. This one is about the U.S. Jobless claims rise to 419,000 from a pandemic low. How low do it go? I don't know how low. Let me see if I can find out how low did it go. Okay, let's see here. Washington. This is from Washington. Good for you. Okay. The number of Americans seeking unemployment benefits rose last week from the lowest point of the pandemic, even as the job market appears to be rebounding on the strength of a reopened economy. The Labor Department said Thursday that jobless claims increased last week to 419,000, the most in 2 months from 638,000 the previous week. The number of first time applications, which generally tracks layoffs, have fallen steadily since topping 900,000 in early January. Economists characterized last week's increase as most likely a blip because of some one time factors and partly a result of the inevitable bumpiness in the week to week data. Applications for jobless aids jumped last week. For example, in Michigan, where GM has announced that it is shutting down truck production because of supply shortages. I do not worry that this reading signals a sudden weakening in labor demand, says Stephen Stanley, an economist at Amherst Pierpoint Securities. In fact, I am quite confident that it does not. Americans are shopping, traveling, and eating out more as the pandemic has waned, boosting the economy and forcing businesses to scramble for more workers. Companies has posted the highest number of available jobs in the 2 decades that the data has been tracked. Hiring has picked up, though businesses say they often can't find enough employees at the wages they're willing to pay. So that's what it really is, the wages that they are willing to pay. Now, in the state of Illinois, or you know what, I'm going to say Chicago because actually didn't say Illinois. I remember it's Chicago because our mayor held a press conference, I think it was maybe about 3 weeks back, and they were saying that for Chicago, we definitely would get $15 an hour as a minimum wage. And they were clapping and celebrating and stuff. And I'm just looking at this like it should be $15 as a minimum because you should give a person enough where they can at least get a studio apartment. At least if you don't give them a wage where they're able to just be by themselves in a one room, then the wage really isn't a living wage. So you can celebrate it however you like, but I still find it a little insulting. But I mentioned last night and even last week, and probably for a long time, that they are cutting back, and they've actually been doing so since 2012 that I noticed. They're cutting back, having less people to do the work of many. And it just hasn't stopped. The government has been very nice helping the businesses during the pandemic. They've been giving them all kind of funding. But see, businesses, they look at their profits as losses if it's not the number that they anticipate. So they can say, oh, our target for profits this year is $15 million. And if they don't get that and they only get five, oh, we got a loss. Yeah, we lost 10 million last year. Yeah, it was a very bad year. So, we'll have to go up in the rates, and I know the little routine that's going on with if you have a stockholder or shareholders rather, well, they get some stock, and you got the big bosses in the suits that come in once a month, play golf and all that stuff. I get they want to all get paid, and once that cut, they don't like that, so they pass it on to you taxpayers, and they get the workers humping, and that's what's going on. So the work is there, but they're being really unfair when it comes down to the wages, and that's what's going on with that.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, it's to the point where, and they were talking about that. I was trying to find the news story that I had seen this on, but they were talking about this kind of narrative that the news is selling, that no one wants to go back to work and blah 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 blah, but then they're not talking about certain industries that are seriously losing out by not going to work because the unemployment insurance and whatever that they're getting is such a small fraction of what they would get if they actually went to work. So like people who work in hotels, for example, right, women like the maid service type people, well, they are barely getting a fraction. They can't pay. They're making $400 or $500 less a month, and hotels don't want them to come back. They're literally planning for them not to come back. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
it's a huge thing because they're like, it's so much cheaper. They just tell customers now, well, hey, if you want daily maid service, you got to pay an upgraded fee. Otherwise, for the same price that you are used to paying, you get a room. And like the front desk concierge can like hand you a towel or toilet paper if you need it, but you're gonna have to come down to get it. No one's coming to your room, right? And they're good with that. Like they don't want to rehire people because they're saving oodles of cash. And guess what? Their hotels are still full, and they're getting away with it, right? So,
Yeah. Hmm.
and that's just one industry. I'm sure it's happening in several industries, and it's unfortunate because people are acting like, for some people, yeah, this is a godsend, but for a lot of people who need their employment, who were not even paycheck to paycheck survivors,
Right.
they're not appreciating this at all. And the industries aren't going to go backwards. They're saving too much money. They're making too much money. It's basically what it is.
Right. It's their time to make a lot of money, and then other people are resetting, trying to figure some things out for themselves,
Exactly.
do things
Hmm.
differently.
Hmm.
All right, on the screen you have this beautiful woman that was interested in a reward. Maybe she didn't have a pension and she was trying to figure out some kind of way to get her a little extra money. So she did what she thought she needed to do, and she just happened to be a suspect, though. Just saying. And the suspect asked about the reward money for her own arrest on police Facebook posts, and yeah, then she gets arrested. Yeah,
Hmm.
about that. Yeah, that didn't work out too well for her, but yeah.
Aww.
Yeah, poor lady. I don't know, but she was, she needed the money. Some people need the money, so I understand. You know, but anyway, let me
Mhm.
read what it says here. Lorraine Graves was arrested the day after she asked about a reward for her own capture on a police Facebook post. An Oklahoma woman who used Facebook to taunt the investigators looking to arrest her is now behind bars, charged with as an accessory to a March murder, People confirms. On July 14th, the Tulsa Police Department posted an image of Lorraine Graves to Facebook, adding her to their most wanted list and offering a reward for information leading to her arrest. The post noted that investigators believe she was involved in the killing of Eric Graves, 30 years old, who was fatally shot on March 13th, according to the court documents obtained by the Tulsa World. Lorraine and Eric are related, but their exact relationship is unclear. Within 2 hours, Lorraine Graves, whose age was not released, commented on the post. Where's the reward money at? Graves asked in a post from her own personal Facebook account. Others users warned Graves to stay off of social media, as police would be able to track her that way. The next day, Graves was tracked to her home in Tulsa and placed in handcuffs, according to a follow up Facebook post from the Tulsa police. She remains in police custody on a $500,000 bond. Two other suspects, Jaden, 19 years old, and Gabriel Hobson, 20, have been charged with first degree murder for their alleged roles in the killing. Neither has enter a plea, and it's unclear if they have retained lawyers who would comment on the allegations. The Tulsa World obtained court documents that alleged a witness told detectives Jaden Hobson was upset because the woman he was courting liked Eric Graves. Okay, so 19-year-old Jaden felt some kind of way because 30-year-old Graves wanted the woman that he wanted.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
You heard that right. Mm-hmm.
Okay. The Hobsons pulled their guns on Graves, who began shooting at them, authorities allege in the court documents. They say that Hobson fired back, wounding Graves and the witness. Lord have mercy. The court documents further allege Lorraine Graves facilitated the discarding of the potential murder weapon by driving Gabriel, which is the 20-year-old Hobson, a ride to another apartment complex where he handed off the gun to another man. A lawyer for Graves could not be identified. She has yet to plead to the charges she faced. So you want a reward and you were snippy about it. Okay, well, you rewarded. You writing being, in prison, so good luck on that.
I just wish she had pulled herself together for her last official public photo. I mean, like, I know, she wasn't prepared, right? But honestly, like, Black people, please, right? I understand now why we see so many bonnets, because that's what's underneath it, right? Like, it's just like, damn.
Well, see, she was in the house and she wasn't ready.
Nope.
When they came and got her.
Nope. Girl, that's why you always have a scrunchie or elastic or something around your wrist. Like, I understand, you're trying to let your edges, breathe and have a little less stress on them today, right? Okay, I get it, right? But then have it around your wrist. So in case of, sudden arrest for a recent crime you committed, you can just quickly put your hair into one, right? And then at least you won't look completely ridiculous. That's all I'm saying. Okay. I know, terrible. I'm terrible. I know I'm terrible. Okay. But that's the most productive thing I have to say.
I understand.
Right? That's all I got. Poor thing. Listen, the pandemic, I understand why we're trying to rush through it. Economically, I understand why they're trying to rush through it the way that they are. But I understand why we're trying to rush through it. People need something to do again. That's just what it is. We can't just let these people. Too. Yes, everyone's idle time. There's no goals, there's no whatever, there's no positive socialization anymore because community centers, stuff like that used to be positive outlets, closed down. I get it, right? We need to get that stuff going, y'all, because this ain't working for us.
Not at all. Not at all. Well, let me ask you, is it that time? Are we, getting a little anxious for that Ken and Karen?
Ooh, girl, I have so many. I got my tops open because I can't literally run through all of them. We'll be here till like 11, but I got some top ones open for y'all. It's gonna be a good day. Mm-hmm.
All right, so let me play old Karen here.
Speed away, coronavirus. You are Karen.
What?
The way her feet hit the ground after she fell.
Roll up on folks. Okay, that's what should have happened to that Victoria's Secret whip, but that's all right. She gonna take care of her.
Right? At least, man. I mean, out of all of them, oh, that chick. If y'all missed that, right? And I mean, if y'all missed our expose of it, watch last week's show, please. because I did a whole expose. I showed y'all all the video, the follow-up. I even gave you tea on why it is that Victoria's Secret Karen is a whole piece of trash. Whole piece of trash in like every way possible. So if you missed it, make sure you catch last week's show. Check out the replay because yeah, it's worth watching.
Yes.
But today we have a variety of Karens. So her first Karen award goes out to this woman. Now, preamble. I told y'all that, listen, we need productive outlets. And some people did do productive things during the pandemic. Actually, Black women are the largest group that during the pandemic started businesses. And so here we actually have a Black woman just trying to conduct her business. Let's see what Karen has to say about that. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. All right. Rewind it. There you go.
I was just giving you a heads up.
Listen, ma'am. You see what this is? Hair extension.
Why are you doing it here?
Because I can. It's a public park. It's a public park. You go in the park? Can people pick up here? It's just a pickup.
Okay. It looks like a drug deal.
I don't care what it looks like. Call the police. I pay $50,000 in taxes. I pay my mortgage. This is how.
Do it at your house.
Lady,
if that's your house, do it at your house.
If there's a problem, tell someone.
Okay.
Thank you.
I was trying to give you a heads up.
Give a heads up.
Okay,
Thank you.
Just trying to be helpful.
Thank you. I definitely appreciate it. For the hair services.
Hair products.
Thank you, love.
Yeah.
I will. Thank you.
Just giving you a heads up. It looks like a drug deal. People don't go around every day. People parking there. I'm telling you, you don't see where this is. You know what? I'm just saying, I'm not a legit business. Not paying $50,000 in taxes. I don't know this person. And people are talking about the girl on the Bible stealing drugs.
Are they?
People.
People.
You're not involved with these people. What do you want me to do? Stop doing my business? Well, I would like you to not do it here.
I bet you would.
And if they call the police on you, I tried. Okay.
Well, the COVID dogs there, they should know.
Okay, I tried.
Thank you.
Aw, see, guys, Karen was just trying to be helpful. That's all, right? She's just trying to be helpful. She just assumed you were a drug dealer because a Black person was parked in a car waiting for you, and you rode up on a bike full of hair supply stuff, and so she assumed you were a drug dealer. So she's just trying to let you know that if you're a drug dealer, they peep your game. But if not, everyone assumes you're everyone, right? People are talking. I don't think that woman has one friend, but people are talking about the girl who looks just like a drug dealer.
Yeah, that's what they see on television. That's what, they're told. That's how we survive. And even if we did, well, we've been put in that situation. So now what?
Right. Hey, that's what it is. And Karen has the right. You have to understand, y'all. Karen is so entitled. Karen has the right to tell you what you are and are not allowed to do anywhere that she is. Right? Like, it's not like you're on her property. Right? You're in a public park, in a public parking lot. This woman pays her taxes, therefore those taxes actually pay for this public space that her friend or her customer is parked in to pick this stuff up. But Karen can tell you that you have no right to do this because Karen is God. Yes.
I don't like it, so I say so you stop it.
Right. Now, here's the thing, right? Y'all might think to yourselves, hey, why don't you just listen to her? Just do it from your house, right? I mean, I wouldn't because, dude, these are customers, normally from the internet. I don't know you, and you don't get to know where I live, right? Like, if I can drop stuff off in any other way, that's what I'm gonna do. But you might think, wouldn't it just be easier? Just do it from your house. Well, let's see what happens when you just do it from your house, like Karen asked.
Oh. Okay.
Oh yes. Y'all, I told you I have Karens today. Okay. Let's see what happens when you just do it from your house like Karen asked. Right? Because she won't bother you then, right? Obviously.
Can't wait to see this one. All right.
That's not. She's probably applauding him, right? Okay, let's see.
I am actually.
You,
yes,
you're taking my property.
Well, there's been a lot of comings and goings of UPS trucks in this neighborhood.
What about that?
A lot of packages coming to this house particular. Well, something's going on in there. Something's going on in there.
So it's Amazon. It's my Amazon wish list.
I'm taking the package.
No, you're not taking my package. That's my stuff.
Excuse me.
What the hell? Oh my goodness! Come on, Karen.
You're fine. You sprayed me with whatever that stuff is.
Oh, Karen, come on now.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh Lord.
No. Sure. Okay. So,
girl,
we gotta see this again.
yeah, I gotta see that. I'm looking at it in my mind right now. It's something going on in there. A lot of packages. So, as a person of color, a black person, you can't be having a life, like her. You just can't. You cannot have a life. You can't be ordering none. Money, it takes money. So surely you can't have money to order anything. No.
Absolutely
you can't
not.
work from home like a lot of people are doing, and their jobs are sending them different things that they need. No. That can't be.
It can't possibly be. And if it's not, it's Karen's business. Right. It's on your own property. She doesn't live there. So if you listen to Karen and you just do it at your home, guess what? It's still her business, and she can take your property from you when it's delivered. There's no such thing as mail fraud, or it's not illegal to open anyone's mail if you're Karen. Right? Karen can open anyone's mail because it's her business now. Yeah, okay. Now, I want y'all to hear the very end and how she reacts and the things she says. So, Shar, we going to have to mute up because I want them to hear what she says because it's so stupid. Okay, all right, let's go. I'm sorry, I'm going to mute y'all because it's too funny. Okay.
I am actually. In fact, yes,
You're taking my property.
Well, there's been a lot of comings and goings of UPS trucks in this neighborhood.
What about
a
that?
lot of packages coming to this house particular. Well, something's going on in there. Something's going on.
So it's Amazon.
I'm taking the package.
It's my Amazon wish list.
I'm taking the package.
No, you're not taking my package. That's my stuff.
Excuse me. Oh my God! You killed me.
I did not kill you. You're fine.
Oh my God!
You sprayed me with whatever that stuff is.
I can't even stop laughing. You killed me! You threw a light box at my arm. I'm dead.
Well, go ahead. I'll call an ambulance and the police. And go ahead and get that obituary ready because Karen died in action, and that's a good place to die, actually. So hey,
right? So she's an army combatant. She sprays him with some unknown substance in a bottle, and then when he takes the very small, very light package and throws it at her because she's spraying him with something. She's, oh! You killed me! I'm mad at you! Like, what is happening?
She was ready. That's the thing. She was ready. She knows she was wrong. And she like, just in case, I gotta have some backup. So let me get my squirt bottle with my bleach in it or whatever she had in it.
They are always ready, Shar. They're always ready. 1,000%, they are always ready. Now, here's the thing, right? So you think to yourself, well, let's pretend, right, that you're not actually trying to, run a business or, do anything productive, right? Like, let's pretend you're not, right? And let's go further. Let's pretend that you're not black. Right? There's no way that Karen would bother you in either of these cases, right? Because you're not trying to run a business or order things or whatever. You're just walking around in the world trying to live your life, right? It's none of Karen's business. right? So she'll just leave you alone, right? Obviously she would. Well, let's see. Let's see what Karen does in this particular scenario. I don't know. I mean, maybe she'll surprise us.
Okay.
Okay. Now because unfortunately, she didn't get a lot of the preamble of the situation. She didn't get a lot of it on video. She actually does the non Karen, right? She gives us like a little bit of an actual explanation as to why this video exists. So let's listen to that first, and then we are gonna watch Karen. Okay.
So quick story time because I'm at work. But basically, me and my best friend were walking to a ride, and there was music, and I was literally like moving my head, vibing. And she's like turns around and is like, "Can you stop dancing like a whore? I have a 10-year-old child here." And then we just lost it. I got upset because there's people half naked there, and she decided to look at me. Obviously, I was the only Latina around. Everybody around the crowd was white. Nobody stood up for me. My best friend is literally the only person who was helping me diffuse the situation because she kept like getting in my face, no mask, like she looked like she was on drugs, like not even to be mean, and like her kids were there. I would have laid into her verbally, but the child was literally just looking at me. I felt so bad. Like she had no shame. It was just so sad, and I feel really bad for the kids. There was 3 of them there, so I was trying to keep my cool. But yeah, so it was really bad. And she decided to pick on me and call me a whore. And her husband proceeded to degrade me as well when they look like the living dead. So yeah, that was my fair experience.
Now, I love that preamble. I thought it was awesome. It's a really good preamble for the story. Let's check it out.
I'm not supposed to be here right now because I'm dressed like a hooker, and none of these
You better fucking quit because I'm 2 seconds from stalking you. So fucking stop. I've got my 10-year-old with me. So quit. Get the fuck out of here. Get out of here.
This is a bad example for your 10-year-old.
Yeah.
What the?
Yeah. I mean, y'all, that woman is scary looking. Like, you don't even have to hear her again. That woman, because sometimes I'm like, these young girls, they over exaggerate. Nah, man, she does look like she might be on like meth or something.
Yeah.
Like, look at that. This. Really? See, what happened was, right? Karen used to be a hot girl. That's how she got herself all these kids. Now she can't stand you. Now she can't stand your ass because you just remind her of everything she no longer is. And she's not so much worried about her 10-year-old. She was more worried about the fact that she saw her husband's eyes glued to your behind.
Right. She was moving her hair and moving her head around, and he looked. And, he might not have stared. He just looked. And that was too much.
Way too much. Way too much.
Now, if it was a man doing a dance, then that's fine. You can do the dance if you're a man, but you're a girl doing a little dance. Oh, no, we can't have that.
Right? Oh no. That is wrong. That is wrong. Right? I mean, come on. That's why I said, okay, listen. To be fair, they think we all look alike, and by we all, I mean, again, one drop rule, right? If they can tell you have like 10% blackness in you, then you're black. So, but I mean, this girl is like, she's basically a white Latina, right? Doesn't matter. It's the body, right? It's the body, yaddy yaddy. She's got, and her husband don't look at her like that anymore because, well, she looks like a meth addict, a fat meth addict, which is kind of weird. I thought meth addicts were all thin. Anyway, poor thing, right? Now this video, guys, and this is gonna be our last one for NAM. I'm gonna stress it out too much. We already love Char for allowing us to have an extended Karen, right? Episodes. Okay. But this one, like, y'all have to see. I'm almost positive we didn't do cruise ship Karen yet, did we? I don't think we did.
I don't remember. No, I don't
No.
remember.
Okay, yeah, I didn't think so because I think that only came out in the last couple weeks. But I'm like, you know what? Listen, if I did, it's like a
Yeah, people would like it anyway.
yeah,
I
exactly.
remember seeing Don Teasy was probably in the chat room, and Emmanuel, but that was it.
See, there you go. Now, y'all, okay? Here's the thing about Karen is that Karen is not actually as ashamed of herself as we would like her to be. Right? I mean, some of them are, like Victoria's Secret Karen, but others, they literally lack like self-awareness and self-accountability. And so we actually have cruise ship Karen to thank for this video. Yeah, that's right. She made this video herself and then posted this video. So you might be a little bit disappointed because you're thinking to yourself, I'm sure, well, then we won't get to see her. Oh, you'll see her right at the very end. You will see her. I promise y'all, you will see her. All right. Let's see how cruise ship Karen reacts when she's told that because of her anti-masker ways, she has now contracted COVID for the second time. And therefore she cannot be on the cruise where she wants to be. But let's see how she reacts to that information.
All I know is I can't breathe with this.
With the mask. Yeah.
Ridiculous.
A medical grade mask, she can't breathe.
Ridiculous. They closed off the freaking floor in our room. Look at our luggage. It's wrapped in freaking plastic. Well, at least it won't get dirty at the airport. One good thing, right? Look, they sanitize everything. As if we're really contagious. As if I really have COVID. I had COVID 3 months ago. I have high positive antibodies. I took the test at my doctor.
This is Karen proving to you that she doesn't actually understand science, for the record. So the first thing is that Karen knows she's already caught COVID before. Second of all, she thinks that because she caught COVID before, they're just super confused and they didn't test her properly this time. They're just catching the fact that she had it before, even though she recently got tested and tested negative. That means between when she tested negative at her doctor's office and today, she contracted COVID again. But Karen doesn't understand science, and so therefore it's what? A vendetta against her. Let's keep watching.
Doctor's office. High positive. Look. Just look. There's an ambulance outside for us. Oh wait, you're not putting me in no ambulance. You're not putting me in a car until Keith comes down here. If he's not down here, I'm not going in unless Keith comes down here. He's got to sign that paper, and I want a copy of it. Val, no, I said don't take me out yet until Keith signs the paper. Don't roll me fucking back anymore. Then don't take me down here. I'll jump right off this wheelchair, and if I get hurt, you're gonna be doubly responsible. Put the brakes on right now, because we ain't freaking moving. I'm gonna be in charge of my own fucking life. I'm tired of Royal Caribbean telling me what I gotta do when you're fucking lying to us. They're fucking lying!
Ooh.
They're gonna make me have a heart attack. I'm gonna have a heart attack right now. I gotta stop.
Get Keith Murphy down here.
I feel dizzy.
He's orchestrating this. Get him down here.
I feel very dizzy. I'm gonna have a heart attack.
How dare he not even be here?
If I have a heart attack live on fucking Instagram, won't this be a story for the freaking press?
Roll outside for some air.
Right. Because she can't breathe. Because she has COVID.
I can't even, my heart, I'm going to have a heart attack. I feel it. I feel tightness in my chest right now. I can't. I'm dizzy.
Because you have COVID.
Roll outside. Roll outside, y'all. Do it.
Sure. If you don't, I'm letting you know I'm on video.
Okay. My name's John.
Hi, John.
We're here as part of Hit ICU to get you back to New York.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what the hold up here.
All right, my upsetness is nothing to do with anybody here. Okay. Hi, how are you? I'm fuming because the cruise ship required us to get a PCR test prior to coming on the cruise ship, which we complied to. We did that. We tested negative. I had COVID 3 months ago. I have high antibodies. I went to my doctor, got the blood work done. We come on
Yeah, exactly. Let's just cut that off now. Because you know what? This is Karen proving she doesn't actually understand the science, right? I told y'all, I've been telling you guys this since last year. When you catch COVID, it only makes you immune from COVID for a maximum of about 3 months. Afterwards, you're fair game to catch it again. That's problem one. Problem two, she's feeling all of the symptoms of COVID. She gets herself all in a tizzy, starts screaming, and does a tiny bit of physical activity. And now she can't breathe, right? Her chest is tight. She feels faint, right? She feels weak, the signs of a fever. Oh, wait. Doesn't that sound like a sick person who might have something going on with their lungs? She's sick. Like, what are you talking about?
Goodbye, Karen. Royal Caribbean take care of their customers. They're pretty good. I love them. So you got to go, girlfriend. We don't want the ratings to go down because of you. So good riddance.
Yo, they're careful as hell, man. They plastic wrapped her luggage. We ain't taking no risks. Plastic wrapped. I'm surprised she didn't come out plastic wrapped and just a hole in it for her mouth.
They got some waiting for you, Karen. As soon as they roll you on out of there. You gotta go. You got to go.
Yo,
trip back home.
Right? Not even like an ambulance. Girl, they put I mean, not even like a cab or something. Yo, they call it ambulance. It's gonna transport you from here directly to the airport. I'm sure the airport can keep you in the ambulance until the last possible second. Then they're gonna put you on the flight in some type of very uncomfortable quarantine and ship you back to New York because you're New York's problem. Like, that's really what they said, right? Like, we don't care.
Okay. They're like, see, girlfriend, boop, get out of here. Infecting folk. They can't take no chances on that. No. She can holler and scream and be upset. They don't care and we don't care. Nice trip. Come back again next year.
Right. Bye. Right? And I just got to say one thing, though, right? Because Karen's go-to move is to lie on everyone for everything. How dare she be so angry and incensed that she thinks people are lying on her? Right? I just don't understand. Like, what a damn hypocrite. Y'all lie constantly. They have a thing going on TikTok where they're proving how fast they can all fake cry. Okay? Okay? I'm just saying. Like, dude, y'all lie constantly. It is your go-to move to lie. You don't care how badly you lie. You don't care what the consequences are of your lies. And we first get to see you going, you're lying. Like, wow. Yeah, it hurts. You think she'll learn something from that? Stop lying on innocent black folk?
No.
Nah, I don't think so.
Not at all. Not at all. They never do.
Right? Never, ever.
Well, I want to thank you all for joining us, tuning in today for another episode of Article Reactions. As I said, you never know what you're going to get, but we do have that Ken and Karen segment every week, so you're definitely going to get that. You guys be safe, stay safe, don't spend too much money, and until we meet again, I would like to say peace.
Cheers, y'all.
Join Char Willie and Classic Ruby for their radio show, Keep the Beat. They broadcast every Wednesday night at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on CRBJ, Classic R&B Jams. There are discussions of the songs, and that can take you back down memory lane. If you missed the live broadcast, no worries. Replays are uploaded on Mixcloud. So, Follow JustAskChar Advice Channel on Mixcloud and you will receive the notification when these broadcasts are uploaded.